crack of splitting timber isn't exactly the soundtrack a man expects before his first coffee. Yet there it came again. My gate shrieking like a wounded beast while Karen's spotless white SUV smashed through as if she owned every inch. To her, my spread wasn't property. It was her shortcut. No wave, no request, just a blast of attitude, sunglasses shining like armor, queen of Pine Hollow in her rolling throne. The first time, I figured it was a fluke. The second, I thought maybe she was testing me. By the third, I knew she was daring me. And let me tell you, I'm not a man who takes kindly to being dared, especially not on my own dirt. What Karen didn't realize was that while she played HOA Monarch, I was already sketching a plan she'd never see coming. Before we dig in, drop a comment below. Tell me where you're tuning in from and what time of day it is. When I bought the ranch, I imagined stillness. Endless blue sky, cattle shifting in the dawn mist, a gate that closed with a steady wooden thud each evening. After 3 decades hauling lumber, breathing drywall dust, and nodding to city inspectors about mailbox colors and hedge heights, I craved quiet. I wanted space where no clipboard-wielding community enforcer knocked on my door citing bylaws. My land sat right on the border of Pine Hollow, a sprawling subdivision lorded over by an HOA that made the state constitution look slim. Luckily, my deed sat firmly outside their reach. No dues, no votes, no president to answer to. My fence line was marked by that gate of mine. A big cedar arch I'd built with my own 2 hands, iron hinges set deep in gravel, swinging strong across the drive. It was my marker, my line, and I was proud of it. It wasn't even 30 days before she showed up. Karen. Flawless blonde bob, bug-eyed sunglasses, a brand new SUV with a bumper sticker bragging about HOA pride. She slowed just enough, cracked her window halfway, and flashed a smile that didn't touch her eyes. "Pretty place," she said. "Appreciate it," I replied. Then, without another word, she stomped the gas and plowed through my closed gate. Hinges screeched, cedar scraped stone, and before I could breathe, she was halfway across my pasture, dust kicking up like she was late for a parade. I just stood there stunned. Maybe she'd misread GPS, I told myself. Maybe it pointed her across my land by mistake. But the way she looked back, that smirk in her mirror, it wasn't a mistake. That evening I reset the posts, welded the hinges, muttered the whole time. I told myself she'd come to her senses. But of course she didn't. 1 week later, same story. I heard her engine grumble, turned just in time to see her crest the hill, and she didn't slow at all. She barreled right through like a tank at full charge. I bolted onto the porch, waving my arms. "Hey, private land," I hollered. She leaned out laughing and shouted, "Community easement," before disappearing into my pasture. Community easement? My blood boiled. I knew my deed front to back. No easements, no right-of-way, no shared road. But she spit it out like it was carved in stone. That night, down at the feed store, I mentioned it. 2 old-timers shook their heads. "Got Karen cutting across your place?" one asked, spitting seeds. "'Fraid so," I muttered. The other sighed. "Good luck. She runs that HOA like a fiefdom. Folks been fighting her for years. Best let it be." Let it be? Let her smash my gate every week like she was crowned empress? Not while I drew breath. The 3rd round, I caught her in the act. I was stacking firewood near the barn when I heard gravel crunch. Dropped the logs, marched out. There she was, revving hard right in front of my gate. Saw me, smirked. "Really, you should keep this open," she said. "This is my gate," I snapped. "My dirt. You're trespassing." She cocked her chin, lips curling like she'd bitten something bitter. "Don't be selfish. 10 minutes saved every morning. That's community spirit." I barked a laugh. "Lady, that's called trespassing." Her grin hardened. "You're new. Maybe you don't understand. The HOA runs things here. You're not above them." That was the first time I heard her drop HOA like it was divine law, like she wore a crown just for chairing a board. I told her to turn around. She didn't. Tires spit gravel at my boots while she stormed through again. That's when repairs stopped being about wood. Each splinter was her laughing in my face. Worse, She wasn't alone anymore. Soon I saw a maroon minivan with a Pine Hollow decal follow her trail. Then a silver sedan with a license plate frame naming the HOA treasurer. They cruised across my property like it had been deeded to them. Waved at one another. Waved at me, like I was just some hired hand. Then came the letter. My heart sank when I pulled it from the mailbox. HOA letterhead, violation notice. Dear resident, you are in violation of community standards. Ranch gate unsightly. Remove immediately or face fines. I nearly doubled over laughing. I wasn't even in their HOA. My deed was separate, paid for, clear. But there it was, black ink telling me to tear down the gate they'd been smashing through. I drove straight to the county clerk. Double-checked the records. No easements. No HOA reach. My gate was mine, full stop. Still, that letter burned like a warning shot. Karen wasn't just joyriding anymore. She was declaring war. And here's the thing. 30 years of framing houses, hoisting beams, pouring foundations. If it taught me anything, it's that every structure stands only as strong as the person defending it. Karen thought SUVs and paperwork would scare me off. But I've built more than gates. I've built things meant to last storms. By the close of that first month, I knew peace had turned to combat. Karen wasn't cutting through by accident anymore. She was flaunting it. Morning, noon, and night. Each time dust rose across my porch like a reminder. This wasn't settled. One Sunday, I parked my old Chevy across the entrance. Sat on the tailgate sipping coffee. If she wanted her shortcut, she'd have to face me. Didn't take long. Dust plume. White SUV. She slowed, leaned out, sunglasses flashing. Waste of your time, she said. Road belongs to everyone. No, ma'am, I answered. This road belongs to me. Deed says so. Her lips curled. Can't own land that blocks community access. Illegal. I nearly spit my coffee. I checked county records twice. She was bluffing with such confidence you'd think she'd written the law herself. Turn around, I told her. Her smirk widened. Move the truck. We stared each other down. Finally, she slammed into reverse, tore off in a cloud. For a moment, I thought I'd won. Next day, I came home to find the gate on the ground. Post snapped, hinges twisted, tire marks gouging my pasture. Karen had escalated. And this time, others followed. It wasn't random. It was organized. She was turning my land into an HOA access road. I decided to try reason one last time. Walked into their office. Brick front, polished tile. Like a law firm masquerading as a neighborhood club. There she was at a glossy desk, binders stacked like fortresses. She glanced up, eyes narrowing like I'd tracked mud across her floors. We need to talk, I said. Oh, good, she purred. Hear about your fines. My what? She slid a paper across. Itemized list. Unapproved structures, unkempt land, road easement violations. Total, nearly $300. You're insane, I snapped. I'm not even in your HOA. Her tone sharpened. Don't play dumb. Every parcel here is subject to our charter. I leaned in. County clerk says otherwise. I'm outside your boundary. She leaned back, nails clicking on her chair. Boundaries are flexible when community welfare is at stake. Legal boundaries aren't flexible, I fired back. Her lips pinched. You'll regret your stubbornness. That was the moment I knew this wasn't some misunderstanding. It was siege. She wouldn't stop. She'd hound, intimidate, fine, manipulate, until I gave in. And she had allies ready to enforce it. Later that week, I was pounding fence posts when one of her bored lackeys showed up. A wiry guy with a clipboard and a permanent scowl. He marched up like he was the sheriff. Sir, you can't keep rebuilding this gate, he announced. The HOA has voted. The road stays open. I wiped sweat from my brow. Funny, I don't recall voting. That's because I'm not in your HOA. He scribbled something like he was docking me points. Failure to comply will result in penalties. I laughed, but not kindly. You'll need more than a clipboard to scare me. He huffed off muttering, Karen will deal with you. And deal she did. Around midnight, The familiar crack of braking would jolted me out of bed. I grabbed a flashlight, stormed outside, and there it was again. My gate flattened. Karen's taillights winked in the distance, shrinking across my land. This time no excuses, no fake smiles, just defiance. The cedar I'd cut, the hinges I'd welded, lay scattered like kindling. My land didn't feel like mine anymore, felt raided. The next morning, whispers at the general store followed me. "She's been tearing through his place again," one man murmured. "Won't end well, but you can't beat Karen. She's got the sheriff on speed dial, county clerk in her pocket." That's when I realized law wasn't going to help. Reason wasn't going to stop her. She truly believed she was untouchable, queen of Pine Hollow HOA. But I'm not the kind of man to fold. Years of construction taught me a simple truth. If a structure keeps collapsing, you don't patch it, you rebuild stronger. Sometimes with wood, sometimes with steel. As I gathered splinters from the wreckage, a thought rooted itself. What if the next time she rammed through, she didn't just break timber? What if she met something that fought back? That night, I sat on my porch staring at the stars. Karen thought she was playing a game of notices and fines. I was done playing. I'd build something different. A trap. By now, every rumble of an engine set my pulse racing. She'd gotten inside my head. It wasn't just about lumber anymore. It was about whether a man's land meant anything when someone else declared they had a right to it. The morning after she leveled my gate yet again, another envelope waited in my box. Bold type this time. Remove obstruction within 7 days or face daily fines of $250. My hands shook holding it. I wasn't even a member of their association, but they thought paperwork could break me. That afternoon, Karen herself marched up my porch. Heels clacked like gavels, clipboard in hand. "You've been warned," she snapped. "Take down that gate or we escalate legal action." I leaned against the frame, arms crossed. "Karen, this isn't your land. This isn't your road. You don't set rules here." Her face reddened. "I am president of Pine Hollow HOA. Every road here falls under our charter." I cut her off. "Not mine. Deed proves it." For a moment she faltered, but pride won. She jabbed the paper at me. "You're selfish. You deny neighbors access. This road is for the community." I chuckled. "You mean for your morning coffee run? Don't dress it up." Her eyes went cold. "You'll regret this." Then she stormed off. The week that followed was a circus. HOA members prowled near my fence snapping photos. My barn, livestock, even haystacks. I confronted one. "What are you doing?" "Documenting violations," he replied smugly. "Violations of what?" I barked. "Community standards," he muttered before slinking away. That night Karen came again. Headlights slicing through the dark, her SUV blasting through what little repair I'd managed. Dogs barked, horses spooked. My stomach knotted. Irritation hardened into resolve. 3 nights later came the breaking point. Just before midnight, screeching tires with splintering. I stormed outside, shotgun slung more for warning than use. 3 cars this time, Karen's SUV leading, 2 HOA cronies behind. They hooped and hollered as they plowed across my pasture, my gate lying in pieces. I screamed until my voice cracked. They didn't stop. They were sending a message. My land was theirs now. Next morning, I marched into the sheriff's office. Deputy chewed his toothpick, shrugged. "Without video proof, it's your word against theirs. And Karen's got influence. She'll spin it like you're blocking a public road." That was the end of law. I left furious, knuckles white on the steering wheel. If the system wouldn't defend me, I'd defend myself. That evening, hammering together yet another makeshift gate, Karen appeared again. She didn't bother smiling. "You're wasting your time," she said. "We'll keep driving through until it's gone. Accept it." Sweat stung my eyes. "You think you own me? Think again. This is my land. I'll defend it." Her smile was sharp as glass. "We're voting tomorrow. The board will remove it, with or without your consent." I stared her down. "You may have a board, Karen, but I've got something stronger. A backbone and a plan." Her expression flickered, doubt, maybe curiosity, before she slipped back into her SUV. That night, I sat at my table sketching. Wood had failed. Hinges had failed. If I wanted this to end, I needed something no SUV could muscle through. Something that didn't just stop her, but humiliated her. I dragged out industrial steel beams I'd salvaged from an old job, heavy enough to stop a truck. I drilled deep, sinking 6-foot posts into concrete footings with rebar cages. Each could bear thousands of pounds. I welded cross braces, angled struts, reinforcements until the frame felt more fortress than ranch gate. Then came the disguise. I layered the front with cedar plank so from a distance it looked rustic, just like before. Behind it, though, was a skeleton of steel. And I wasn't done. Past the gate, I dug shallow trenches and lined them with hardened spikes set in concrete troughs, camouflaged under gravel. Anyone bold enough to ram through would find their tires shredded. My ranch would no longer be their shortcut. I worked late into the night, lantern throwing long shadows as sparks flew from the welder. Each joint, each weld was precision. This wasn't frustration anymore, it was design. It was resolve. When I finally killed the lantern, I sat back, chest heaving. I crossed a line. This wasn't a gate anymore. It was a warning. Karen had mistaken my patience for weakness. She thought my land was hers to claim. But soon she'd learn a truth every builder knows. Some gates don't swing open. Some gates bite. I blew out the lantern, went to bed, and for the first time in weeks, slept like a man who knew the next move was his. And when Karen came barreling through again, she'd discover what happens when a builder with nothing left to lose decides he's had enough.